Okay, so I'm just going to take that. Run that up in the connector. Okay, and you want the Romex to be inside the connector, so you don't want to have this. Okay, you don't want bare wires exposed on the connector. So you want the insulation to be protecting those wires. So if you have that up even with the connector, and then tighten that down. Okay, you don't want to get this super tight because it will cut into the wire, but you do want it secure so it doesn't move around on you. Okay, that's pretty good. Right, I'm going to move this a little bit on an angle where you can kind of see what I'm doing yet still allow me to work here. Okay, so I'll start with the ground. Try to do this neat. Okay. Because neatness goes a long way. Okay, it really does in all situations here. Okay, no matter what area you're looking at, whether you're looking at the industrial side of things. You know, neatness keeps you organized, cuts down the risk of starting a fire. Okay, but you don't want that. Okay, it's also good on the residential side. And that, say you want to wire your own house, which you can do without a license, by the way. You do have to pass inspections, so neatness goes a long way with that. You know, if they see a neat panel, neat wiring, you know, they might overlook some of the small minor details that normally they would give people a hard time with. Okay. So I'm starting with my ground connection here. Just want to actually take that, run it along the bottom here, get it cut to size, and slide it up under that screw terminal. Okay, doesn't matter which one. This one that works good. So I'll slide it up under there, and then take my flathead screwdriver and tighten that down. Okay, good snug connection. Okay, then I'll do the same process for my neutral. Again, kind of run that back where it's neat. And I'm going to place that right next to where the ground is. So I'm going to need to trim that down a little bit. And then on this one, I'm going to need to actually strip it. Okay. Actually, still needs to be a little bit more off. Okay, that's pretty good right there. That all the way up, and then good snug fit. Alright, so that takes care of our neutral and our ground. Now the hot wire goes to the breaker. So push that in the corner here. Okay. And actually, could have cut that wire a little bit longer. So you might want to say about 10 inches as a rule, because where I'd like this to be is about right there, but that's a little bit short to the breaker, so I'm going to say about 10 inches. So a little bit further down past your side cutters will work. Okay, again on this, let me slide this way where you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, you see the connection right there? This actually just slides up in that connection, and I just tighten that down. Okay. And just as we discussed earlier on some of the videos about insulation, you want to strip enough where none is up under the screw, because that can get hot and cause a fire. But you don't want it stripped way back here where something could make contact with it and cause a short. Okay, so that's your basic wiring for the panel. Okay, and that's what you're going to need on 80% of the wiring projects. Okay, the only differences with the other two, you have the dryer receptacle, which you'll need 2 hots. So again, you're going to need to strip this longer, about let's say 15 inches, because you're going to need the wire to come up here. Okay, and you'll use the 14-3 wire for that, so you'll have a hot and a red up here. Okay, so the black wire and red wire will come to this breaker. Ground and neutral will be the same on that. I guess it would help to see what I was pointing to up there. So up here on this double pole breaker for your dryer receptacle, you'll have your red wire and black wire up here for that. Okay, and the other project where you're doing the multiple circuit receptacles, again you'll have 2 hots, but they'll be separate circuits. Okay, so you'll use these 2 breakers. So again, 14-3, black wire, red wire, ground and neutral. Okay, so these are separate, meaning they work independently of each other. When you have the 2 40-volt circuits where both hots are controlling one device, those 2 are connected together here so that you turn both of them on and off at the same time. Okay. The other thing with the breakers, okay, if you do trip one, it will be positioned right there. Okay, hopefully you can see what I'm doing here. So if the breaker's in the middle like that, that's the trip position, so it'll kind of be loose, which it's not right now because it's not been tripped. But when you do that, just turn it off to reset it and turn it back on. Okay, if you get a trip breaker while you're wiring in here, hopefully you don't have that happen, but if it does, that's how you reset that. Okay, so that is the panel wiring. Okay, I think I've covered everything on that. Again, this is what you're going to be doing for most of the circuits. Okay, just your 1 hot wire to the breaker and your ground and neutral to the ground and neutral bus bar. Okay, again, make it look as neat as possible. Make sure you use the connector, okay, and not just run the wiring in without a connector, because that can cause damage to the wire. So if any of your boxes are ever missing those connectors, let us know. We'll get some for you. Okay. Alright, so that covers the panel wiring. Alright, and that's all for now.